This is going to be a review for a Star Wars novel called Star Wars: The Weapon of a Jedi. Now, this is one of the new novels, the new series novels, that focus around, they're kind of like a road to The Force Awakens, basically. They're all like little hints in here and there of The Force Awakens. And this one focuses on Luke Skywalker. They have novels on a story. There's one about there's one about Princess Leia, and there's another one about Han and Chewbacca. That one's written by Greg Pak. I haven't read that one yet. But this one I wanted to read because I was like, you know what? I've been reading a lot of Sith novels. I want to read something about the Jedi. I want to read something about Luke Skywalker, one of my favorite, Star Wars characters ever. Now, this novel is short. This novel is... I blew through this in about, 2 weeks? And that's only because I was like... I could have done this in a week, honestly. I just kind of lazed out on a few times here and there. But is this novel bad? No, it's not. The big thing with this novel, the story is that Luke... This is set in between Empire and A New Hope. So it's in that 3-year gap. And basically, Luke is going to be is being sent by the Rebellion on a mission alongside R2-D2 and C-3PO. So we have those two with him as well, and he's on a mission to, I think it's like in peace talks with another planet to help get Rebellion aid. But he gets caught by the Empire. He has to go back to another planet called Deveron. Not Dameron, Deveron, which is home of the Deveronians. If you want to remember who those are like they're these big like goat horn, like they look like devils basically. They look like demons. And in here, Luke has been getting visions of a temple that he's supposed to go to. It turns out that Deveron had a Jedi temple, and he wants to go there to train. He wants to learn how to use his lightsaber. Now, keep in mind, this isn't the 3-year gap between A New Hope and The Empire Strikes Back. So he has not met Yoda yet. So he still doesn't know what it takes to be a Jedi, but he does know how. This is how he learned to use the first time he learned how to use his lightsaber. And yeah, while he's at Deveron, he discovers this Jedi temple and has those little droids that can shoot out lasers. If you remember them from New Hope. And yeah, this is based more or less about Luke learning the way, concentrating, depending on the Force, and learning to use his lightsaber in combat for the first time. Because keep in mind, while he wasn't good at it, he wasn't good at his first lightsaber duel with Vader, that he did show that he could, he knew how to use it, and this kind of explains how he did that, as well as also an Empire of how he learned how to use the Force and pull his lightsaber to him while he was captured by the Wampa. So, in here, of course we have R2-D2 and C-3PO, and while, yes, R2-D2 and C-3PO are C-3PO is pretty damn annoying, there are some funny moments with him, and of course I love how Luke in here is very patient with especially C-3PO, because it's only him and R2-D2 really that are out here. The Rebellion doesn't know where he is. He has to use a Y-Wing instead of his X-Wing. And I love how this story, it's actually more of a story, really. I should have mentioned this earlier, and I apologize for that, but yeah, this is more or less a story told by, this is set during the 30-year gap. This whole prequel, the whole prologue of the story sets up the story itself. Obviously, it's a prologue, but yeah, in that prologue, what goes on is that it's set. We see into the future between Return of the Jedi and The Force Awakens, and there's this this X-Wing pilot who meets C-3PO, and C-3PO tells her the story of the first time he witnessed Luke Skywalker using his lightsaber in battle. Now, keep in mind, during that time, this 30-year time period, Luke is known as the Last Jedi. He's become, Luke Skywalker has become a legend. And this young pilot wants to know from C-3PO the first time she saw him use his lightsaber. So this is all a story being told by C-3PO to this young rebel, this rebel pilot. Or I guess you could say resistance pilot, that's the better word. But yeah, that's how it all is. It's really one big story C-3PO is telling to her. And in here, there is some action that goes on, but it's not till the later chapters. There's only about 12, I want to say 12, 13 chapters on a whole. And it's mostly about Luke depending on the Force and learning how to use his father's lightsaber in combat. And this is also, like I said, the first time he used his lightsaber in combat. It's not against those little spheres. We encounter a villain called Sarko, known as Sarko. Sarko is like this, he looks like, he has this weird mask that looks like toenail clippings. He was in The Force Awakens. He's a background character in The Force Awakens. And he actually has a staff similar to the Magna droids in Clone Wars. In here, Sarko is like a scavenger. And he wanted to get into the temple, and he has a special prod that, can combat a lightsaber. And I love how the author, Jason Fry, just details the battle between, the lightsaber duel between Sarko and Luke. Because the thing about, sword battles, or lightsaber battles, or whatever, bladed weapons in combat, is that it's really hard to describe them on a whole. It's really hard to describe and make it sound interesting. It's really hard to make a lightsaber duel look good in fiction. It's really hard to do that and make it, keep the people, keep someone interested. Even, the Darth Plagueis novel, as much as I like it, there's only one lightsaber battle, and it's only a page and a half long. And it's between Darth Plagueis and Darth Tenebrous' other secret apprentice, Venemus. And that lightsaber duel doesn't go on long, and it's just in description. There's no, in-depth description of, oh, he struck here, but he blocked here, stuff like that. And here you actually get that, and it's interesting, and I think that's a cool angle to really play with in here. But there isn't really, this isn't like a must-read for Star Wars fans. It's not like that at all. But I do, it's not like, oh, if you want to know all the secrets of Star Wars The Force Awakens, go read this novel. There's not much there, other than Luke fighting a character that was a background character in The Force Awakens, as well as Luke, I'm going to spoil this, is that Luke makes the vow to restart the Jedi Order. That's really it. That's all the tie-in to The Force Awakens. And you can read it as a standalone book. If you just like to see, Luke get into some shenanigans, I'd say pick this up. Again, it's not a, major read like Darth Plagueis, but I still liked it. It was a fun adventure story. It's nice to see, some cool Luke Skywalker stuff and him learning on his own rather than, having, and you do get Ben Kenobi in here, his Force, at least his voice anyway, but you don't really have Luke having someone tell him, physically tell him what to do in these duels. He has to figure it out for himself. So yeah, I highly recommend this book. It's not, I wouldn't say get it. I find it it's $11. So if you want to check it out, I'd say give it a read. It's not it's not a major you must read this if you're a Star Wars fan. I would say that for Darth Plagueis as well as the newer novels like Tarkin, also done by James Luceno, who wrote the Plagueis novel, and Paul S. Kemp's Lords of the Sith. Those are novels you should really read. But anyway, once again, hope you all enjoyed this review, and I will see you guys later.